educate to enterprise may be just two words, but these two words have taken more than 2 decades to shape into a kind of idea and form. So philosophy of educate to enterprise is to prepare our students when they graduate from the university. We should be preparing them in such a way that any problem is thrown at them, they are in a position to answer. We are not saying that you become entrepreneurs. We are saying that even if you're working for a MNC, you're working for a large organization, or you're working for a startup itself, you should be able to see that there is a problem. You should be able to find out what could be the solution to that problem. Embodies the passion that the team has put into it and the vision that the university leadership has, because the best of the best faculty is working with the students. So when they are working with the student, maybe idea is ideated by a student or by a faculty, but the entire team is working onto that. And that is where in the process the work will happen. The work will get featured into the Stanford research forums, and our faculty will get recognized into the 2%.
REVA University offers a contemporary learning environment where diverse disciplines from engineering and technology to management and science, law, design, performing arts, agriculture and even aerospace come together seamlessly. At the heart of this growth is the ability to reach the right students, inspire them and to bring them through the doors. And few roles carry that responsibility more than the admissions team. Today's guest is somebody who sits at the very intersection, the bridge between a student's aspiration and their academic journey. As Director Admissions at REVA University, he has been a key voice in shaping inclusive access to quality education. He was instrumental in the launch of REVA RISE, the university's flagship scholarship aptitude test, aimed at identifying merit and potential early, including among students from rural and underrepresented backgrounds, offering up to 100% scholarships to deserving learners. We are delighted to welcome Gaurav Yadav, our Director for Admissions at REVA University, to discuss how REVA is redefining the admissions experience and making future-ready education accessible to every aspiring student. Thank you so much for joining us here today, sir.
Thank you for having me here.
So I want to first start with something that is synonymous with REVA University, education to enterprise. But tell us, how did this vision come into being and how does it guide the REVA journey today?
So I think that's a good start. See, educate to enterprise may be just two words, but these two words have taken more than 2 decades to shape into a kind of idea and form in which we are presenting it to the audience today. So when we say educate to enterprise, it actually embodies the overall work that we have done and the kind of the vision and ambition that we are having going forward. So here, if I have to interpret these two words, it will be prudent to say that educate to enterprise being the theme, what we are trying to achieve here is we are preparing the students in such a way that they will be able to answer the questions or problems that are thrown at them going forward into the future. So philosophy of educate to enterprise is to prepare our students when they graduate from the university. We should be preparing them in such a way that any problem is thrown at them, they are in a position to answer. Now, most of the time the word educate to enterprise gets misinterpreted by saying that we are trying to prepare entrepreneurs. Of course, there will be a few people who will take up entrepreneurship. Let's say we have about 5,000 students coming out of the university every year. Maybe 10% of them will definitely end up taking enterprising initiatives because they may have the family background, they may have that kind of inquisitiveness built into them that they do not want to take up a job. But educate to enterprise relates beyond entrepreneurship. We are not saying that you become entrepreneurs. We are saying that even if you're working for a MNC, you're working for a large organization, or you're working for a startup itself, you should be able to see that there is a problem. You should be able to find out what could be the solution to that problem. So when we say educate to enterprise, we try to define what we have done in the last 20 years and what we are trying to do over the next decade. This is a very revolutionary concept, educate to enterprise. A lot of effort has gone into this. It is very easy for us to today say that what is educate to enterprise. But to define educate to enterprise, we have taken months to arrive at these two words. So this embodies the passion that the team has put into it and the vision that the university leadership has to take it further to the next step, so that our students get benefited. And in the process, not just the student, when they're going out, when they're going into the industry, when they're taking up the jobs, when they're taking up certain problems that they are going to resolve for the future generations, definitely the entire humanity is going to be benefited out of it. So as our Chancellor spoke to you also in earlier podcast, he must have told you that what is the difficult problem statement that he is having at the moment. While he described his journey of 50 years, saying that how enterprising he has been, I think the problem or the challenge at the moment that he is visualizing is, while he has achieved so much into his lifetime, he wants to see his graduates and his students also achieving similarly. So in order for them to equip with that knowledge, with that experience, with that exposure, Educate to Enterprise is the theme.
REVA is also recognized as India's leading multidisciplinary universities. But I want to understand, how do you ensure there's a synergy when you have traditional disciplines and then you also have emerging fields like AI, design, or for that matter even agriculture?
You said there are traditional disciplines and there are emerging disciplines. You also brought in the word multidisciplinary. That's how it is multidisciplinary. When there are traditional learning spaces also, at the same time there are emerging learning spaces also that have been visualized and they have been brought together. We have moved from perhaps agriculture to industrialization to information age, and now we are moving into AI age. So when we are transitioning, the skills that are required to take over this transition are also shaping their form. They're reshaping themselves. So if you're talking about industrialization, maybe mechanical engineering, electrical engineering, those things were very, very relevant because large factories have to be set up. The entire setup, the assembly line has to be done into the concepts of mechanical and electrical engineering. Today, when we have come into the information age, of course, computer science and engineering has taken that particular lead. But right now, we are in an AI age. So when we are talking about AI, most of the mechanical work has already been done. Now, how this AI is going to shape, how AI is going to require additional skills, that we have to visualize. And that is where what we are finding is that silos of creating that, okay, you learn the core engineering without knowing the human behavior is not going to work. So AI is shaping the human behavior. That means an engineer also needs to know how the human behavior is going to be shaped. So why can't we have a school of psychology and human behavior also, behavioral sciences and psychology, along with the university which is teaching engineering? So that becomes very, very relevant because an engineer will get an opportunity to understand the human behavior also. An engineer needs to understand the geopolitics and international relations as well. Today, an engineer needs to understand law. We are talking about, not just the cyber law. We are talking about Data Privacy Act. We are talking about such kind of exposure happening, that is, individuals need to be protected. So an engineer needs to understand the legal aspects also. We are talking about technology into various domains. Okay, now the technology is also getting into agriculture engineering. So agriculture is also getting revolutionized. It is not the way the agriculture was done 2 centuries ago. So because all the changes are happening, even agriculture engineering is becoming very, very relevant. So when we take a look at what kind of skills are going to be required over the next decade, or maybe next 2 to 3 decades, we realize that teaching students into silos is not going to work. They need to be given a very holistic understanding of what kind of work that they are going to do. Again, it will relate with the Educate to Enterprise, because we are not preparing people for career. We are preparing people for enterprising journey going ahead.
Career as we know it has changed so much. There are careers today that did not exist even about 2-3 years ago. So absolutely bang on. And then to ensure that they have this holistic approach when they set out into the world, you also have faculty members ranked amongst the top 2% of scientists by Stanford University. So how does that reflect in REVA's commitment to academic and especially research excellence?
See, that's a byproduct of the ecosystem. We have, let's say, 1,000 plus faculty members here to take care of the 16,000 plus students. So when we want best of the best brains to come and join, best of the best brains to be available to teach the community of 16,000 students, and when we provide the kind of the learning and research environment, we have the incubation center, what we call it as REVA NEST, where the idea gets incubated. We have an idea lab, AICT Idea Lab. REVA University is one of the first universities to pick up the concept of AICT and establish the idea lab, where the idea is kind of conceived, and we start a student's journey onto TRL level 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. TRL is something called as technology readiness level. When a student comes and ideates something into the idea level, maybe it is at the TRL level 1. But when they go to the NEST, where they incubate their idea, maybe they will be able to incubate, they will be able to work onto the idea, document it, and create a prototype. Once they have a prototype of their idea or the product or the service, whatever they have done, they will be able to pitch it to the VCs, venture capitalists, and acquire funds, besides the funds which the university is already pumping into the REVA NEST. So while so much of facilities are available for our students, why I said that 2% is nothing but a byproduct of the ecosystem, because the best of the best faculty is working with the students. So when they are working with the student, maybe idea is ideated by a student or by a faculty, but the entire team is working onto that.
It's so good to hear about the grassroots level impact also that is happening. But going from there to what is happening globally, given the age that we are in and the changing landscape, you have also introduced new age programs like geopolitics, design engineering, sports biomechanics. We'd never heard of all of these, right? So how do these additions align with REVA University's vision for globally relevant education?
See, the education is becoming global. Why I'm saying education is becoming global, you have seen that even European universities are also coming to India, because Indian students are doing miracles. Everybody wants that kind of brain which is available in India, and make sure that the brain is available to various countries across the globe. So while the international universities are coming to India and trying to reap on the benefits of the minds of the Indian students, we have also taken such initiatives to make sure that our students are given complete global exposure. What is the premise what global universities are trying to put into the forum? They are trying to say that we come with a global exposure. They might come with a global exposure besides the exposure into their respective country, but we are already providing that global exposure over here. We have the Department of Geopolitics and International Relations, wherein we are having the best of the best faculty who have worked into institutions of repute in its domain, and they have come here, they have initiated that particular work over here. We have a BA program into political science, wherein we try to make sure that people are not only looking after careers like UPSC, etc., and they are thinking about real global careers in terms of industrial relations, in terms of international relations, and more so, the intake in BA Political Science offered by the Department of our School of Geopolitical is very, very limited. But where the real impact is happening, the real impact will happen by minors, by electives courses, which the School of Geopolitics will be offering to our other students. So maybe an engineering student will also be able to take a minor into geopolitics, into international relations, and learn those nuances. Any technology will have to today navigate that particular aspect of international relations. Without understanding what is happening at the global level, it will be very difficult for any technology to make an impact that the technology has potential. So therefore, our experts into the School of Geopolitics and International Relations are not only guiding the students who are pursuing BA in political science. They are a small number, maybe only 30 students we are admitting. We are admitting very selected students. In fact, there is a very rigorous interview process that is happening for the selection of those students.
Also today when we look at students, along with doing well academically, their mental health, mental well-being also is so critical. So tell us about the Manodhara Center for Well-being that is established here to support students' emotional and also psychological growth.
See, there is so much of learning that is, kind of a student is supposed to go through. Obviously, stress is bound to happen. And when that stress is going to set in, to an extent, a little bit of stress is good. It is good for health also, it is good for a student also. But at the same time, we have to very closely watch and monitor that the student is able to maintain and manage that particular stress level. If it suits, then the student needs immediate help. So we have the concept of faculty mentorship. Every 15 students are put under a faculty mentor. The faculty mentor is going to remain the same across their stay of 3 years, 4 years, or in some courses they are staying with us for 5 years and plus also. Some of them are completing their UG and then they are joining PG also here. Then they are joining PhD also here. So some of our students are so fond of the campus ecosystem that they are staying here for up to 10 years. In fact, many of our graduates have joined back us only, and they are serving with us as our colleagues, and they have been here for more than 20 years or so. But what I am trying to say here is that we have made sure that every student is put under a faculty at least 15 students, not more than 15 students will be attaching to one particular faculty, and that faculty will have a very, very close watch onto the activities of the student, academic activities, extracurricular activities, their physical well-being, their mental well-being. But that faculty is not an expert in counseling. At some point of time, faculty will realize that the student is developing a stress level and the students need to be counseled by the expert. Now for that, University has set up a complete student counseling support center. We call it as Manodhara, because that is where our Manobhagyanics are there. They will try to evaluate the mental state of the student and give the right advice.
There's also a large part of physical well-being, and that's where sports and physical education factor in. How does that contribute to shaping the holistic development of REVA?
We take a lot of pride into one scholarship that we offer. We call it as a sports scholarship. Now every university has a sports scholarship, there is no doubt into that, but we are giving scholarships up to 100%. So our leadership is very, very fond to make sure that anybody who is doing good into sports or who has a reasonable interest into sports is brought to the university ecosystem and their interest is further nurtured. So Department of Physical Education takes care of it. We have a complete directorate. There is a director of sports and physical education. He makes sure that anyone who is having interest into the sports is given that mentorship. Not just the mentorship, they are given up to 80 to 100% scholarships. Every year we are trying to increase that number. If last year we had around 28 students joining us under the 100% scholarship category, this year we are trying to double the number. So we rather go out and look for students who are having their interest into sports and come and join us, and thereafter the REVA University itself will provide them multiple opportunities to take part into competitions that are held by maybe Association of Indian Universities. AIU will be conducting a lot of sports activities. Government of India has come with Khelo India, so we are part of the Khelo India also. UGC activities will be there, besides many other state level and national and even international sports competitions that are happening.
Another initiative that is in place is with respect to the campus, the building, right? With sustainability becoming such a key concept, REVA maintains a green and sustainable campus identity. So how do you integrate the eco-conscious practices into campus life?
See, Bangalore anyway is a very, very notoriously known place for the water crisis, energy crisis, besides the notorious traffic that we all talk about it. Fortunately, our students do not have to navigate traffic because we have hostels also inside the campus. So more than 4,000 plus students are staying in the campus. But that's where the other issues come into picture which you mentioned, the green initiatives. We have to make sure that we have ample storage of the water. So water harvesting is done here. Across the campus you can see numerous pits. The entire campus is designed in such a way that complete rainwater harvesting is done here. And we do not have to depend on any other kind of water supply because we have adequate storage of the rainwater harvesting itself. Also we have the solar plants, so we are actually not purchasing electricity from BBMP. On the contrary, we are supplying electricity, excess electricity to the BBMP. So this is a self-sufficient campus. It is a very, very green campus.
This is definitely a huge flex, being self-sufficient and then also providing externally. And then you mentioned how it's tough to get the students back to the hostel. But that was about the students coming to the building, especially on campus, with sustainability being such a crucial part of everything we do right now. REVA maintains its identity as a green and sustainable campus. But how are you integrating those practices into campus life?
See, this is a very, very large initiative that the university has taken. It's an extreme and holistic initiative. We are making sure that there are certain elements to it. I'll put it maybe pointer wise, you can say. We have to have certain resources that we are taking from the Mother Earth, or maybe we are taking from other government supplies, etc., that are available here. For example, water supply. So for water supply, what we have done is that we have gone ahead and created channels for rainwater harvesting. If you go around the campus, you will see at least maybe close to 200 pits for the rainwater harvesting. Our esteemed Chancellor has already mentioned it to you in the previous interaction that he has created the master plan in such a way that 70% of the space is open, and that's where these green water harvesting happens. So we make sure that we harvest enough water and we sustain on the same across the year. We are not really buying water from outside, we are not extracting water from beneath the ground. So those activities are not happening, we are completely relying on to rainwater harvesting. Our electricity consumption, we do not really buy electricity from BESCOM. We have our own solar panel installations. We have a complete solar project that has been done over here, and it is done basically by the students, but supported by our parent organization, Dibesri, which is again a development organization, and they have been doing these kind of projects for other facilities that they are creating. So our students have learnt from the experts of Dibesri. They have created this project over here. Today the university is able to consume power supply from the solar initiative, and indeed the university is able to contribute back to BESCOM, not indeed buy from them, but contribute back to BESCOM whatever the excess power supply as and when we have. So to make sure that people are benefited out of this particular initiative at the university. Also we have our own STPs, so whatever the wastewater that comes, it is treated by us. Treated water is used to make sure that it is put back into the plants and the greenery that is on the campus. So STPs again give back and make sure that we are not sharing our waste with the outside world. So whatever the waste that we are generating, that waste also we are taking care of it in the form of maybe dry waste or wet waste or any water waste, etc. It is all treated onto the campus, and the treated water is used back into our plants, etc., to make sure that the greenery is maintained.
When students come from around the country, around the world, how do we ensure that they don't miss their homes too much, that it's a secure and student-friendly residential experience for them in the hostel?
See, our hostels are very student-friendly. We have hostel wardens in each of the hostels. Okay? Wardens at the level of each student. I was talking to you about the mentorship scheme. Mentorship scheme is primarily done by the academic faculty. But any student who is residing into the hostel, for them there are dedicated hostel wardens for each wing of the hostel. They make sure that they take care of each student, their well-being. If they are falling sick, immediately the hostel wardens will get in touch with the health center, and the health center will be taking care of it. We have ambulances onto the campus, so if any student requires further hospital treatment, the referring to the hostel will be done immediately using those ambulance services. So every student is provided adequate service. Plus we are kind of making sure that the student community, anyway I mentioned to you about extracurricular activities that they are doing on campus before they are going back to their hostel rooms. So a lot of bonding happens at the campus. With the help of that bonding, we have a lot of diversity also onto the campus. The students not only from across Karnataka, there are students from other states also. We have students from Northeast as well. A very considerable number of students from Northeast also are there at the campus, and we have students from other parts of the northern part of the country also. So all these students are coming together, they are forming the friendship in the process of their extracurricular activities and curricular activities, and when they go back to the hostels, they definitely find a very comfortable environment, which is further augmented by the presence of the hostel wardens who are keeping an eye onto them 24/7, and they are really doing a tough job in making sure that everybody gets back on time, goes back to the classroom. Every morning at 8:20 you will see that we play the national anthem. Every morning again at 8:25 we play our own university anthem. So, and it is being done for almost 2 decades now. And this practice is something which makes sure that students are there present into the classroom by 8:30 before the teacher enters. All the students who are supposed to be into the campus, into the classroom, will be available there. So these practices which are put onto the campus with the help of the entire ecosystem, with the help of not just the hostel staff but the other overall staff also, make sure the well-being of the students on campus.
So you mentioned how students come from not just Karnataka, Northeast, other parts of India. Some of them might come from a rural background, some might come from maybe a more socio-economic backward background. So in that case, how do you ensure that opportunities are available to them as well?
See, we have plenty of scholarships. In fact, we are having put together about 11 different types of scholarships. But I would like to focus on one, what we call it as RISE, REVA Initiative for Scholastic Excellence. Now this REVA Initiative for Scholastic Excellence, what we have designed is to promote diversity across, is to make sure that the merit is awarded, Of course, we have other merit scholarships also. We have merit scholarships on the basis of 12th standard score, UG score for PG student, various national level and state level entrance examinations. All those are available, but I want to focus on RISE more, because RISE is an initiative wherein we are trying to recognize talent which may be across the country. Maybe they did not have enough opportunity to appear into state level entrance examination, national entrance examination due to lack of resources. Maybe they are into a rural background and their percentage at the 12th standard is not up to the mark that they are able to secure a good enough reasonable scholarship. So therefore we wanted to create an opportunity for such students who are either academically doing very well and have not got a platform to write other competitive exams basis which we can award them certain scholarships, or who have not even got access to a better education but are carrying the right aptitude that we want people to have. As we mentioned to you like about educate to enterprise. So we want a few people to drive that initiative, to be that fire in the belly so that they are able to take up that particular initiative and ensure that what vision we are having, it is getting translated. So in search of the talent beyond these regular mechanisms that are available, we have instituted a test, we call it as REVA RISE. Any student can take this test online, and if they secure 75 and above, there will be very good scholarships available to them. There could be 30%, there could be 50%, and if the student, primarily if the student is from a rural background, we are giving a scholarship up to 100%. So this is an inclusive initiative, also an initiative to ensure that the best of the best brain is able to pursue the course. Financial availability is not something that is barring them an access to the university like us. So we want to make sure that any student who is aspiring to be in Bangalore, to study at REVA University and make a difference, is able to find a place through this initiative, what we are calling it as RISE.
Got it. That is so lovely to hear. All this while, everything you mentioned to me is things that have been worked on to reach where REVA is today. But I want to understand, as REVA University continues to grow, not just in India but also globally, what are you doing that is in alignment with your vision to transform this whole educate to enterprise vision?
Okay, so in order to transform educate to enterprise vision, we need right people. We need right people at both the ends. Students, so our students have to have the right aptitude. Therefore, our selection process has to take care of certain aspects. We very closely take a look at their 12th standard marks, etc. And basis 12th standard marks, we also kind of recommend the courses to them. So when a student comes to us, to our admissions office, the dialogue is not only about which course you want to pursue, what is the fee of the course, no, what are the scholarships available. There are academic faculty members who are present into the admissions office. Every school is making sure that a qualified and expert faculty member is available into the admissions office to find out what the student is actually wants to do from a specific course. And if you find that there is a misalignment into what the student is really thinking to achieve through a course, whereas the alignment could be better if the student pursues a different course, we do not shy from recommending a different course also to the student. So there is a lot of academic counseling that is built into the selection process itself, and that ensures that the right match happens. And when the right match happens, the outcomes will automatically fall. So in order to make sure that the input quality is good, we have brought in academic counseling into the process, early academic counseling into the process even before joining. So prospects will also have an access to the faculty members. Also, the faculty members are trained. There is a lot of regular training that happens to faculty members. They are given multiple opportunities to attend national, international seminars, symposium, workshops. A number of workshops happen at the university itself. A lot of our alumni come back and give guest lectures, alumni lectures. So they also share their experience into the industry. They bring in the industry knowledge over here. We have something, we call it as board of studies. Every program has board of studies where there are numerous members. At least 40% of the members are from the industry. So each board, let's say, is having 10 to 12 members into the BUS. There will be 4 to 5 members who will be from the industry. So right when the curriculum is being formed, they will come, they will instill that knowledge and that information as to what are they looking at the end of the course. So therefore that acumen is brought early, and it is ensured that the student is taught all those skills throughout the course, so that when the student comes out, placement actually becomes a byproduct of the learning process.
This is so lovely to hear. The entire time you've been talking about this journey, I keep thinking that I would, one, love to be a student on campus, but it's a great time to be a student here in India, to have access to these kind of resources and opportunities which probably were unheard of a few years ago. So thank you so much, Gaurav sir, for talking us through this.